Today we're going to make homemade mince pies. Lots of people think it's really difficult to make mince pies, but actually it isn't, and it's lots of fun, and you can actually adapt them to suit your own flavors. Okay, so the first thing we always do before we start cooking, as you all know, wash your hands. Wash your hands really, really well before you cook, before you prepare food, before you eat food. And it's a really good idea to wear a clean apron as well. It keeps you nice and clean. It also keeps the food clean as well. Okay, so really, really simple short crust pastry, all right? You can buy it, shop bought is okay, but actually to make it yourself is really easy. So what I've done here is I've done a little bit of a Blue Peter moment, as we say. So I've made some up in advance, but I just want to show you the techniques. Like I say, super easy, all right? Quantities you need to check because obviously it depends how many mince pies you're gonna make. But the most important thing here is it's plain flour, okay? So I've got my plain flour there. This is margarine, but you can use butter. It doesn't matter, it's whatever you would like or you prefer. And because it's a pastry, the main thing is not to put your hands in at this stage, all right? Because your fingers and your hands are warm and that makes the butter melt or the margarine melt. So don't put your fingers in. Put your fingers in right at the end. Now, to make this a little bit more homemade, I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon, and this is being added to the pastry, don't forget, and a little bit of 5 spice. So I've got cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, all in there. Now, if you like your pastry to be sweet, yeah, then just add 1 dessert spoon of sugar. So I just quickly grab my sugar from here. You can use a teaspoon or you can use, I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. So that would probably be equal to 1 dessert spoon. Give that a mix around. And then at this stage, clean off your fork. And yes, you are allowed to just put your fingertips, the tips of your fingers, into that bowl and get all the flour, sugar, all the spices mixed in together. Like that. And then take your fingers out and just add some cold water. Now, you could use an egg yolk if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. If you use an egg yolk, that tends to make it much richer. All right. So I'm looking for a pastry here. This looks more to me like a cake mixture. So I'm going to just add more flour. The joy of this pastry is that you can do that. It doesn't matter at all. Now, if you have time on your hands, put this pastry into the fridge and let it chill. But if you don't have time on your hands, again, it's not the end of the world. So you can just carry straight on. So I'm going to take some flour. I'm going to just take that out of my bowl, put it onto my work surface like that. I'm just going to gently bring that pastry together. I'm not going to overwork the pastry because the pastry doesn't really like me because I'm warm. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to flatten that down like that. I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm just going to gently roll the pastry out. Now, this pastry is quite delicate. It's a good thing to do in the winter because it's not too warm. So you want a nice thin pastry like that. And then what you want to do is you need a cutter that is bigger than the bun tin. So you can see there that the cutter is a lot bigger than the bun tin. And the reason you do that is so that the shapes, so the round shapes in the cutter that you put into the bun tin, you drop it down like that and it falls in. And then the secret of this is to push up the sides because the pastry will shrink as it cooks. And the secret here is to just put a couple of holes in the bottom of the pastry to stop it the pastry from rising up. Now, in this mixture here, I have got homemade mincemeat, sweet mincemeat. I bought a jar of mincemeat which I put in there, but I have added apple to this, and I've added sultanas. I have got some currants, some raisins, and I've even got some blueberries that have been, I've sort of put water in them and hydrated them again. You could put whatever, cranberries, blueberries, it doesn't matter. And then you just pop that into each one of the cases. Don't overfill them like that. And then with your extra pastry, you just cut out a lovely star or shape, any shape you like. You pop that on the top like that, quite simply like that. Then you take a little bit of brushed beaten egg and you brush it over the top. If you don't like using egg, you don't have to use egg. You could use milk. You could even use water. And then you just finalize that with a little bit of sugar on the top, which is going to caramelize and make it go lovely golden brown. You fill them all, put the tops on, pop them in the oven. You would want them in a hot oven, 200 degrees, for about 15-20 minutes, or until the pastry has a lovely golden brown around it, like this. And it's beautifully risen and it's all nice here. And then once you've taken them out, you move your knife around the edges and then you can decorate. And you can decorate with any of these decorations. You'll find them in all the supermarkets. And it just adds a little bit more colour and flavour, and obviously a little bit of festive cheer. Enjoy.